question. Can you use a cell phone to do ghost hunting? Yes. Now then, using your cell phone. Again, yes. So here's mine. I have, yeah. Let me see if I get this up here. This is Razor 2. This is the cell phone that I got. So, getting into the S. So, what do you use for paranormal investigations? Well, first and foremost, we do a lot of EVPs. So that means you need an audio recorder. Looking at your phone, someplace in the front of these phones, somewhere down here, is a microphone to record with. You've got the hardware. Also, get into all of these. Focus. Focus. There's an app for that, for audio recorder. There's a lot of apps for audio recording. So, on that one, yep, you can do an audio recording and do your EVPs. Next subject, pictures. Can you take pictures? Because again, you want to record this stuff and document it and show your friends if something really ends up happening, which is really cool. So we also take a lot of pictures. Well, let's go back to the old phone again. You see, can I do that? Yes. I have a camera. I have a lens, and there's a CCMOS thing in here, so I can take pictures with. And yes, there is an app for that, so you can take pictures. All right, next subject, which gets a little bit on the complicated side. So we have video. For future reference, I'm going to take audio, pictures, and video and clump them into one word and call them all multimedia files, because it gets really tongue-tied quick. So, video. There's 3 types of video. Number 1, regular, standard, and maybe low light video. Well, like I said, I already showed you the camera, the lenses, and there's an app for that. So yes, you can use it, and they're doing better and better all the time, trying to refine these cameras. And for normal stuff that we do, it's okay, but for the high speed or the sensitive or for the high quality, cameras just don't work. And I'll get into that for a little while now. But yes, you can, of course. The next type of video that we used in ghost hunting and paranormal investigations, something called infrared or ultraviolet. Right, that is a type of light energy that we, through our own eyes, cannot see. So we have to have cameras to take a look at it and convert it to video that we can actually look at and watch. So, infrared camera, or sometimes called full spectrum camera. Well, you've got a sensor, you've got a flash. Yes, there's an app for that. You can find these apps. You look them up anytime you want to. It's easy. Either on Apple Store, and you can find them on Google Play Store. And you'll see an app for infrared camera. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, thermal imaging camera, which is different. It just does heat sources. So thermal imaging, yep, there's an app for that. I'm sure is. You can also, you'll see if you look at some of these shows now and watch closely, you'll see some of these guys will have this little plug-in. There's a plug-in that you can buy on Amazon. It's inexpensive. I don't like using the word cheap because they're doing the best they can, but still trying to keep them affordable. It's rather new technology. But it's if you have to have a powerful enough camera that can handle it. But there's an adapter you can buy. They're going for somewhere around $200. And for $200, you can get this little plug-in add-on that plugs into the bottom of the phone, and now you have a thermal imaging camera. Okay, now we go into some of the other things, the other equipment that we have. I'm sure you guys, if you've watched any of these TV shows, you've seen us use spirit boxes. This is the one that Ghost Brothers got in trouble with. Darren whips the lead investigator. Darren whips out his cell phone, says, "Here's my spirit box," and he starts using his cell phone for spirit box. And yep, on both Apple and Android, there is an app for that. Another piece of equipment we like to use a lot, we have the K2 meter. And yes, there's an app for K2 meter. We have something called a REM pod. If you want to use a REM pod, yep, there's an app for that. Then it starts getting a little bit funny and get a little bit silly. They have this thing, and I've seen it a couple times on this paranormal camera files or whatever, in which they talk about the ghost radar. Can you use a cell phone doing a ghost hunting or paranormal investigation? My answer, no. So now let's get into the no's. Alright, we'll start from the beginning like I did in section 1. This, family and friends, is a cell phone. It's not a camera. It's not a video camera. It's a cell phone. It's designed to make calls and receive phone calls. Alright? Its primary job and its main objective, above and beyond everything, is to receive phone calls and make phone calls. And if you like, for example, anybody can tell, if you're doing something on your phone, let's say you're doing an EVP, let's say you're doing a video or whatever, and suddenly you get a phone call from somebody, that phone will stop whatever you're doing and give you the opportunity to answer that call. Well, there takes care of your EVP or your video that you were going over or whatever. It takes care of all your reliability, your credibility, and everything, because it will stop everything it's doing and want to know what you want to do to that telephone call. Do you want to take it? Do you want to decline it? And same thing with text messages. You're sitting there minding your own business and you're doing the VV, and all of a sudden you hear this ding ding because you just got a text message from somebody. Alright, you just corrupted whatever you were trying to do and your credibility. The second part on, as far as trying to record audio with a cell phone, the microphone itself is inexpensive. The microphone itself is for one thing and one thing only: to pick up and transmit the human voice. Not sound, the human voice. And at close range. Everybody, I'm sure at one time or another, you'll be sitting there talking to somebody, a friend of yours, whatever, and all of a sudden it starts getting garbled, or you can't understand what he's saying, because he's taking the cell phone, and he's talking on the cell phone, and he's talking to it like this, and slowly it gets away, and it's like, no, I can't understand you anymore. Cell phone microphones are designed only for a couple inches, not across the room. The other thing about it is, on the microphone on the cell phone is, as I said before, it's for the human voice. So, science and audio has specified that the audio voice, the normal talking human voice, is from 700 hertz to 7,000 hertz. Okay? Now then, that's the normal, calm, human talking voice, which is what these things are designed to pick up, so you can hear each other. Alright, a human being and good hearing can hear 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. And a lot of these things, these EVPs and stuff that we pick up, are outside of the normal human hearing. That's why while you're doing the EVP, you don't hear anything with some good equipment, and later on when you play it back, all of a sudden, bingo, there's an EVP, and you're like, wait a minute, where did this come from? That's because a real audio recorder will pick up things that a cell phone can't, just because of the mic. Alright, so it takes care of audio. Okay, let's go to video. Alright. Can you use a cell phone for regular video? That's a yes or no. The problem you got with anything on a cell phone's a multitasker, an expert of none. Your cell phone's doing a lot of stuff. And if you're taking a picture and suddenly you think you see something in the background, or you might see a spirit or a shadow or whatever, you have to, the thing to understand is that these cell phones are doing a lot of stuff in the background. And all the programs you got running in the background, Facebook, Twitter, weather program, Instagram, all these things are running in the background. And they've got these things called notifications. Well, they generate noise. So your cell phone's trying to do the video, or take the picture. No, do the video. We already went over pictures. It's trying to do a video, and we're on pictures. And at the same time, you're trying to take a picture. So that's when they have this thing called crosstalk noise. So yeah, look at it and everything. Is it 100% reliable? Did you really? The main thing is, if you think you saw it, and you go back and you take a look at your camera, and it's showing you the same thing you saw, right? Then that goes into the door of paranormal. So then it's a little bit harder to try to debunk, as Zach likes to say all the time. So, because of the noise and stuff is not really reliable and credible. But again, that's what you call the world of paranormal. Okay, regular cameras, the low light and stuff. Okay, they're good, but then again, you still got that problem of the crosstalk and the noise and everything on taking the video. And if you're in the middle of a good video and you think you're tracking a dark spirit or something like that, and all of a sudden you get a phone call from your boyfriend. Oh, damn it! That takes care of that. Alright, so now we're going to get into the other ones. Alright, now then, the three different types of video. We went over the first one, which is regular, standard, light, and sometimes low light video. The next thing to talk about is, on the video subject, is the ultraviolet or infrared, or as they've generalized and put them all together, called it full spectrum camera. I have a full spectrum camera. Okay. Full spectrum camera. No. This is not a full spectrum camera. This is a regular, standard, normal light camera. A full spectrum camera has a special lens on it, and it's also got a special CMOS sensor. The hardware to do full spectrum video recording, your camera, your cell phone does not have it. They're kind of expensive. And you can't switch from one to the other. I have separate cameras. I have a regular camera. I have a full spectrum camera. You can't do them all. You can't do them all in one thing. It's just, you don't have the CMOS sensor, and you don't have the filters on the lenses to pick it up. The app that people are seeing for these infrared cameras, it's a computer program. It does whatever the programmer tells it to do. So what you got is you got a computer programmer somewhere to come up with a good idea and figure out how to randomly change the colors that you see on your camera versus what's being recorded, and changing it around randomly to make it look like it's an infrared camera. But it's really, no. You don't have the sensor and you don't have the lens on a regular cell phone to do it. It just doesn't work. So, the next one. Okay. Thermal imaging camera. No. Same thing again, thermal imaging camera. People go ahead, again, go on Amazon or go to some of these ghost hunting equipment people and see what this stuff really looks like and what they do and how much they cost. So, next, let's go to the funny one. Can you do Spirit Box? No. Again, this is where Ghost Brothers really got into a lot of trouble for about 2 weeks. It was somewhat sad and somewhat hilarious. Alright, Spirit Box and the way a Spirit Box does and what it does, it has an AM and an AM/FM receiver. And it scans up and down those frequencies in the hopes that a spirit can manipulate the device and you'll hear words coming from it. Alright, cell phones do not have AM/FM receivers in them. It's a program. And they're thinking that whoever puts that thing on them, it's a joke. It's just a computer program. You don't have the hardware built into it. They don't even use radio receivers in cell phones anymore. That's why you got your Apple Music, you've got your Spotify, your Pandora. That's what we use, this generation nowadays uses to listen to its music, not on the radio. So the radio receivers, they used to be, years ago, you had a radio receiver built into your cell phone and the headphones was used for the antenna. Well, like I said, times change, generations change. Now they've got the Spotify and the Pandora and the iTunes and stuff, so people don't even use that anymore. They just listen online. So, a Spirit Box? No. It's a program. Next thing we go to K2 meter. No. You cannot use a cell phone as a K2 meter. A K2 meter, the job of a K2 meter is it has a specially designed antenna and special circuits inside it to pick up electrostatic and electromagnetic energy. And then it alerts accordingly with either a meter or a series of LEDs or audio. So our cell phones do not have that special antenna, and they don't have the chips, the hardware, to sense electromagnetic and electrostatic energy. It's just not there. So no, you can't use it for K2. Same thing with the REM pod. If people know that, what a REM pod does, if you see the difference between a K2 meter and a REM pod, but a REM pod has another antenna. Okay, what a REM pod does differently is it generates an electrostatic and electromagnetic field around that antenna. And when any other kind of energy comes in contact with that antenna, it changes the field on that antenna, and it picks it up and it tells you that there's something there. Okay, number one, the cell phone doesn't have that antenna. Number two, it doesn't have the chips or the circuitry, the hardware, to pick up and deal with the electrostatic, electromagnetic generating and sensing. So it's not there. So no, you can't. All right, now then. Last but not least, and I think the funniest and silliest one. Oh my goodness gracious. Family and friends. Ghost radar. Really? Seriously? Ghost radar. Yes, there's an F for that. I've seen it. And it is funny. And anytime you see, and I have more than once, watching these television shows, and what the guy comes up, and then the TV says, and this is a world-renowned paranormal investigator, and look at him using his ghost radar. There's no such thing as a ghost radar. No, we cannot send signal back and look for a signal to be coming back as it bounces off a ghost so we can tell where they're at. That technology does not exist. It's a computer program. It's a joke. It's a farce. It's just for have some fun.